Hello everyone, welcome back to the third part of this video series where we are building an event management app using Flutter and Appwrite. This is the third part of this video, so if you have not watched the previous part 1 and part 2, you might face some difficulties, and we have almost complete 50% of our app. In this video, we are going to mainly focus on adding the users to our participants list of our events collection individually. And we are also going to read the images from our Appwrite storage bucket. So let's begin. Till our previous video, we have completed till this part where the user can create new events and they can read all the events that are inside the collections. Let's make all these events clickable. Currently, they are not clickable. So for that reason, we will create a event details page first. It will be a stateful widget. Inside scaffold, it will have a column in body and it will have children's. First, it will have a container of height, let it be 300 and width to double dot infinity. Remove this const. Now let us link this events detail page with our events individually. So for that, here on tab, we will navigate to the events details page for now using navigator.push method. So now when we press any of this event, we'll be redirected to the events details page. Inside event details, we need the data.documents value. So for that, let us create a variable final. It will be a return type of documents. This document is from appwrite/models.dart and let us make it data. Now we are expecting a document value. Here also we are expecting a data. Our data will be events and it will have individual indexes. So now it's okay. Now if we click on any of this event, then our event details page will open. Here we don't have anything. Let's just give some colors to this container. Okay, so here we don't have anything, but currently we have applied a container. It's visible. Here we're passing the data, and instead of this container of green color, we will pass the child as image inside this container. So it will image.network because we are fetching it from our Appwrite cloud. If we go to our storage,
If we click any of these images, we will find that it has a file URL. Just copy it and paste it. You'll find you will be able to view this image. So if we go to our database and check events, here, like the last image that we have uploaded was this, it was having an ID of this. Just copy this ID. Just copy this ID and you can see that this ID is this ID. URL will be similar, only the file ID will be different to view the image. So here, instead of, you can remove this mode is equal to admin. And only change will be here, this file ID. Okay, because we are storing the file ID of the image. So we need to use this URL and we need to change this file ID according to our image. Now let us just copy this and paste this. And here we need to replace it with our file ID. It will be inside widget.data and it will have another data and it will have image. Now it's okay. So let's restart it. Let's try to open and now. So we are getting some error. Here we are getting handshake error in client. To fix this error, all you need to do is visit your main.dart and there just paste this code, HTTP overrides extends, and here we need to import the library dart.io. And now inside our main.dart we need to call HTTP overrides.global. Global is equal to our function that we have created, my HTTP overrides. Now it's okay. Let's save it and restart our app. Now we will find that we are able to view the image that we have uploaded inside our storage bucket. So images are working. We can change the width to box width.cover. It will cover the whole area. Now it's quite okay. Now what we need, now let us wrap this image.network widget with a color filtered widget. Color filter. Here we need color filter. It will be color filter.mode. Here we need to specify our color. We want it to make it little bit darker. So we'll use colors.black with opacity somewhat like 30%. So we'll use 0.3. And blend mode, we are going to set it to darken. Now you can see the image is little bit darkened. Now we need to add text in it. So if we are willing to add text inside the image, we should use a stack. So let us wrap it with stack. And instead of child, it will be children's. Now it's okay. Now let us add some text. First, let us add an icon button. it will have an icon of icons dot arrow back, and it will have the color of colors dot white. Now we need to wrap it with position, otherwise it will not be visible. We need it in a top 25. Now you can see the arrow button is visible here. Let us increase the size a little bit. So on press, we are going to push them back to our previous page. So we'll use navigator.pop. So now it's okay. So now it's working fine. Let us add some more text. Now we need to add date and time. For that, we need to format our date and time. The date and time that we are receiving from Appwrite is not formatted correctly. So for that reason, we need to create a new file. It will be format datetime.dart. What we are going to do is that first we need the package intl. So we'll use flutter pub add intl. It will add the package for us. I have a code written for you guys to make your job easier. It will format the date and time like this. It will format the date and time that we received from Appwrite to hours, minute, and it will format the date to date, month, and year. So now, inside our events details page, we can use this format date function. Let us create a row. It will have children's, and here first we will have an icon. It will be the icon of calendar outline, and size let it be 18. So it's here in the corner. We don't want it to be in this corner. So for that we will use position. We'll specify the area like bottom 45 and left 8. Now a calendar icon is okay. Now here is our calendar icon. After a sized box of width 4, we will add our time that we are fetching from Appwrite database, that we are fetching from Appwrite collection. So we need to format it. So for that reason, we will use format date. And here we will use our data. It was widget dot data, and it was inside our date time, DATIM. So make sure the attribute spelling is right. In our case, it was date time. So for that reason, we're using it. Now you can see it's in black color. It's not visible. So let us change the color and font size. And make font size to 14 and font weight to W400. So now our date is visible. What we can do, Next, we can add another sized box of width 14 and another icon. This time it will be icons of axis, time, outline. Similar like previous, size will be 18. We will add another sized box of width 4 and here we will add the time. So simply copy this and paste it here. Instead of format date function, we'll use format time. Now you can see the time is also visible now. Now let us use one more row. It will have children. Like the previous one, it will have an icon and a text like this. So let us just copy it. And here it will be the icon of location on outline. And instead of this format datetime, it will be widget data and it was inside location attribute. So it's coming here. We need to add position widget here. It will be at bottom 20 and left 8. So now you can see our date and time and the location are visible. So if we use any event, you can find all these things are available now. It's working for all the events. Now let us add some text below the image. So we'll have another column. So below the stack where our image is present, we will create a row. Here we'll first have a text of our event name. It was inside our widget data and attribute was name. So let's save it. So it is very small, for that it's not visible. Let us give some styling to it. Set the font size to 24 and font weight to W700. And we also need an icon. It will be icons.share. But let's make this text expanded. It will take the most amount of area. Now it's okay. Let us wrap this row with a column and now add some padding. Now it's okay. Now after this, let us add a sized box of height 8 and then we will add our description. It will be text and it was inside widget.data and attribute was description. Let us give a simple text style, colors.white Now it's okay. Since we have not specified the cross-axis alignment for column, so currently it's in center. Let us specify cross-axis alignment to start. Now here the event name is visible as well as the description. Now quickly let us add a sized box again of height 8, and then here it will be our guest. Let's give it a bold text style. Font weight to 700 and font size to 20. Now another sized box, and here we will add the guest that was inputted by the user. It was inside widget.data and it was guest. Let's use the same style as our description. Simply copy and paste it. Now let us copy this part till here and paste it. Here we'll have our sponsors. Then we'll paste it again. Here we will have more info, and this time we will have some text. Event type, and here we will use our widget.data, and the attribute is in person, so let's use it. And here we are getting the value as true, but we don't need to display this as true. We can display it like, if this is true, then we can display it as in person, else it will be virtual. Now you can see the change. Now let us add the similar style. So we are going to copy it, and here we will have the time. Similar to this as we have defined here. So our time will be this. Just copy it. And here we need to paste it. And at the end we will have the location. Location was inside our widget.data, and the attribute was location. And we can also do, if sponsors is equal to empty string, then we can use null. Suppose if someone has not provided sponsors, we can do this like, if it is equal to empty string, then we can use none. Otherwise, the sponsors that are available. It will be under double quotes, and instead of guest we can make it as special guest. And below the description we can also add the number of participants that we are also storing. It was inside our participants attribute. We need to use this under double quotes, and then we need to paste that widget.data.data and attribute participants.length. Here it's giving us 0 because we don't have any participants. Let also add people are attending text along with the widget. So it will show the string like how many people are attending the event. Let us specify the color. And also the font weight to W500. Let's change the font size to 16 and save it. Now it's visible that how many people are attending the event. We will use the same button style that we have created in the create event page. So let us just copy it and paste it under the location text. First, add a sized box of height 8, and then we are going to paste it. Remove the onPressed function events. Remove the text on onPressed, we don't need it currently. And instead of create new event, it will be RSVP event. So now it's okay. Now just copy the size box again, and under the location we can add like open with Google Maps button. So it will be elevated button dot icon, and in icons we are going to provide icons dot map, and label will be the text open with Google Maps. Now save it. Currently this is how our UI is looking. As we have set, as we have done with sponsors, we have set it to none. Let us also do it for guest, because guest is not compulsory. Just copy the text and paste it inside our guest text, and here instead of sponsors it will be guest, and if guest is null then it will provide none, and else it will provide all the guest. So this is how our UI is looking. It's working fine. Now let us add some functionality to this UI. Now let us write the function for RSVPing an event. It will be a future function. we need string ID, list of participants, and string of document ID. Since it's future, it will be asynchronous.
Here we need our user ID. For that, we are going to create a new variable ID, and we are going to use our shared preferences saved data value. We are going to use our saved data dot get user ID to get our user ID, and then we are going to use participants dot add user ID. So it will add the user ID in the participants list in our Appwrite events collection.
First, we will use databases dot update document. Here we will use the same database ID that we have. In our collection ID, it will be this collection. So simply copy it and paste it within double quotes. The document ID will be document ID that we are receiving it from here. So it's okay. We don't need to do any changes. But we need to also pass the data.
Our data will be the attribute participants and the participants that we are saving after adding the user ID. Now let's save it. Now we also need a catch block after try block. So we will use a catch block, and here we will simply print the error.
If we have successfully increased the participants of events, then we should return true. Otherwise, we should return false. So now let's call this function when user press this RSVP event button. Here in our event details page,
Inside our events details page, on press event, we are going to call the RSVP event function that we have created. Here we don't need to specify the user ID because we are already calling it. So let us just remove this ID. Here we don't need the string ID because we are already using the ID from our saved data. So let us remove from the function, and also while calling this we don't need to specify our ID. We only need participants and document ID. So here participants was inside our widget.data inside attribute participants, and our document ID was inside widget.data.document ID.
we are returning true or false value. So for that, let us use then. If the value is true, let us create a boolean value at the top, like bool is RSVP event. It will be as false when we have successfully RSVP'd that event. Like here, if the value is true, then we are going to so we are going to check if value is true, means the value is, if the value is true, then we are going to set state and we will change is RSVP to true, else we are going to show a scaffold that something went wrong or we cannot RSVP the event, like that. Our snapper will be a text where it will show like something went wrong. Try again. And we don't need to do anything because it's already false RSVP event. Or we can do one more thing, like when we are successfully RSVPing an event, we can say like RSVP successful. So now let us try to RSVP some of the events. Now here, if we try to RSVP an event like this first event, if we try to RSVP this, let's try. So it's saying RSVP successful and the count of people also increased to 1. But now it's showing to RSVP again. So we don't want to show this button RSVP event again. It will RSVP the event one more time. So the limit should be 1. So for that, what we can do, we can disable this button like is RSVP is true, then it means the user had already participated till the sized box. We are going to paste it and then we are going to use colon here, and instead of RSVP event we will show that attending event. And on press we don't need to do anything, or we can simply show a snap bar that you are attending this event. We don't need to do anything else. Let's just remove this if and else statement. Now here it is showing attending event. Let's try to RSVP one more event like this one. Currently it's showing 0 people are attending. So when we are pressing RSVP event, it changed to attending event, and here also the count changed to 1. So it's working perfectly fine. So now here, if we find we are already participating in this event, but now after we are restarting this app, it's showing us to RSVP the event again, even though we are participating in. So this should not be the case. This is a problem. We need to fix it. So for that, what we can do, in our events details page, we can check whether the user ID of the user is present inside our participants attribute. If the user ID is present in participants list, then we should change this is RSVP event to true, and here it should show like is attending event. So first let us create a function. It will be a boolean, is user present. It should accept a list of dynamic participants, and it should also expect the user ID of the user, and it should return, it will be returning a true or false value. It will return participants dot contents user ID. So if user ID is present in the participant list, it means the user is already present and attending this event. So we will either get a true or a false value. So let's restart this app now. So let us first provide the user ID to it, string ID. It will be an empty string for now. Inside our init state, first we will set the ID to our saved data, the data that we are saving in the local device, and we will retrieve the user ID from there, and then need to use the function is user present, and in our participants we need to provide the data that we are receiving, like document data. So it will be inside our widget.data.data and inside attribute participants, and user ID will be the ID that we are storing. This user present function will either return true or false. So we need to store this inside our is RSVP event. And now let us restart the app. And now if we go here, it will show as attending event. Now it's working fine. Let us try to create a new account and try to RSVP an event. So now it's showing as demo user. It's not looking that great. So let's only use the first name instead of the full name. So what we can do, that the username that we are getting from our local storage, we can split it using spaces, and then we should use the first string. It will be our first name. Now if we restart our app, it will only show us hi and first name. In this case it was demo. Now let us try to RSVP an event. Here we are getting as 3 people attending, and here it's also showing our attending event. Now let's close it and restart it again. Now it's showing attending event. It's working fine. If someone tries to press this button again, it will show you attending this event. So now it's working fine. We are having no problems. The homepage UI just simply contains the list of all the events, and this is not looking that great. So let us update the UI and make it look more better. So for that, first inside our containers, we are going to create another file. It will be event container.dart. I have already written some design code for you guys. I will share this link in description. You need to come here and simply copy this and paste it here. Just save it for now. And now instead of the list style that we are using, we need to remove this list type and we need to call our event container that we recently created. Now here it requires document of data, and the data that we are having was events. So we need to replace it with events, and we need to specify the index, specific index. And now before saving, here you need to replace with your storage bucket link. It means the image link. So in our event details page, here we are having the image link. Simply just copy it and come to the event container file again. Simply come to event container and paste that link. Here it will not be widget.data.image. So it will be data that we are receiving, and then data, and then the attribute image. Now save it. Now also save our home page, and now restart the app. So now you can see the UI has changed and it's looking more better. So now we have a better looking UI. Just paste it. The font size will be less. Let's make it 20, or let's make it 16. And the column, it will be cross-axis alignment. Cross-axis alignment will be to start. So it's looking quite odd. Let's add some padding here. Now it's looking better. So now here we have the name and some text, and then we have all the events.